Okay, we have a 2007 Infiniti QX56. Customer's complaining. Turn the key. No start, no crank. He actually replaced the battery yesterday, so we know the battery is good. And so we're gonna figure out why it's not starting. First thing, notice, okay, yeah, I turned the key, no start, but all the lights on the dash still come on. One thing that goes wrong is the shift interlock prevents you from starting it if it's in gear. Goes bad. One way to check and see if it's not that, hold the key in the start position, holding all the way forward. While you're doing that, keep your foot on the brake and go through the gears. If it was the shift interlock, then it would start in neutral or start moving this around, but it's not. Considering it's the 5.6 liter engine and it's the Nissan engine, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the starter. It usually is. So we're going to change that today. Where's the starter, you might ask, on these V8s?
It's under the intake.
Underneath the intake. Brilliant, Nissan. Okay, first things first, take off that cover. Next, take off that clamp, or at least just loosen it up. Remove the mass airflow sensor, undo the clips that hold it secure. Undo those, remove the box, take everything out. Okay, if you don't want to drain the coolant, just remove these 4 Allen bolts that hold the throttle on. That'll prevent you from taking off these cooling lines through the auto air control valve. Remove this hose and that hose to go to the valve covers. Also, unclip all the fuel injectors. Remove this plastic clip right back there. That 10mm bolt right here. And do the same thing on the other side. Just basically disconnecting the intake. Don't forget the fuel line. That's pretty self-explanatory as well. Next, you're gonna see a whole bunch of these 10mm nuts, not the ones on top of the fuel rail. The fuel rail comes up with it, but throughout the length of the intake, take off all those 10s. The best way to do it is with an extension coming from above and get them all out. Okay, once you remove, there should be 5 of the 10mm bolts holding the intake down per side. There's the ugly piece of junk right there. I don't know why Nissan decides to put it there, but obviously they did. Okay, what's holding it on is going to be 2 14mm bolts on the back side, and just disconnect the wires and stuff, and we'll put the new one back on right now. Okay, here's the starter. Okay, so you have it all bolted up. You want to make sure that you have everything bolted on correctly. What we like to do, we use a little jumper wire from this terminal on the starter, and we'll go ahead and jump it to that. So then you know that when you hook this wire back up, right there, you know you hooked it up right. Okay, now time to put the intake back on. Make sure there's nothing in the way. Time to tighten up the 10mm bolts and hook everything else back up. Okay, time to test it out. There we go.